I'm Dr. Ian, and today I want to talk about leaky brain and what that is exactly. I've made a previous video on leaky gut and the process of it, how it happens. Bottom line is, when we have outside sources coming in that's not good for us, it damages our intestinal flora, and then we compromise that barrier. And so it starts to erode the intestinal lining, and then we develop a permeability issue where we have substances coming into the bloodstream, creating an inflammatory process. And what happens from there is that it goes into our system, into organs, including our brain. And our brain works similar to the gut, where you have bridges and a protective lining that prevent certain harmful substances to get into our brain and influence us neurologically. So how do we know if we have leaky brain? Well, if we're having forgetfulness, or if we're fumbling over words or forgetting words, forgetting why we walk into a room, or if we're forgetting directions, where we normally go to a supermarket, but then we forget how to get there, or we're just very distracted. Heavy duty brain fog. And so all these are signs that you may be having a condition called leaky brain. And that's where you have a permeability issue, where you have substances coming in from the environment, or it could be from inflammatory chemicals coming in that influence the barrier in a negative way, that specifically the brain blood barrier. And if this is compromised in any way, you're going to have leakiness going in the brain and having these particular symptoms. So the gut brain connection are very closely related. And so if we're influenced by those negative environmental processes, or if we're thinking bad thoughts where it's creating a lot of stress, if we're not sleeping through the night, if we don't have proper activities, if we don't have a healthy, nutritious diet, all those things collectively can create problems, and then bring in the environmental toxins, whether it's heavy metals or plastics or other manufacturing items that are off-gassing, and we're exposed to it on a regular basis. It'll cause, it'll poke a hole through our gut and eventually work its way to the brain, creating that leakiness there. And if you're having those symptoms in particular, then you really need to address that issue as soon as possible, because it's going to lead to more serious neurological type of erosion in the future. And that's what typically leads to neurodegenerative processes and dementia potentially. So you want to fix the problem. The way you fix it is the same way you fix the gut. You need to be able to seal the holes in the gut by eating appropriate foods, staying away from refined carbohydrates, sugars that imbalances the gut microbiome. You want to promote good bacteria in your gut and create a better ratio between the good and the bad. And that way you have your protection back. And then you need to be able to bring in like collagen from a chicken broth or beef broth, and just do like a fast for a couple 2-3 days to bring in a high concentration of that ingredient. And there's other powders and supplements that you could also intake that will be very, very good for repairing the gut lining. And once that occurs, then you stop having that leakiness coming into the system. And then all of a sudden the brain then will have the ability then, or your body will have the ability to start repairing the permeability or leakiness in the brain as well, see? And so it's important to take those processes in order to heal and protect the gut lining and the immune system. And then making sure then you do healthy detoxification type protocols to deal with the liver, because that tends to have a backlog. And once you're able to start clearing out the excretory processes or overload in the body, then what happens is your body starts to get cleaned up. And once again, once you remove the interference, those distracting thoughts will start to improve as you improve the environment and the internal environment and the external environment. So I thought I'd create this video quickly just because I have a lot of questions in regards to what leads to leaky brain, and it's very closely affiliated with leaky gut. So if you like this video, go ahead and click on that you like it and follow me on this particular channel, because we're going to be producing more and more content in relation to biohacking or health hacking your health. We'll see you next time.